hands. Many of you saw that on TV. So Iran will have nuclear weapons. We would be foolish to think that if Iran has nuclear weapons, they're not going to use it on Israel. Remember this. They're fighting Israel now through Hezbollah. Hezbollah didn't wake up one morning and said, let's start kidnapping soldiers and let's start murdering soldiers. When Ahmadinejad came to power, Hezbollah quickened and woke up. There's a direct correlation between Ahmadinejad coming to power and Hezbollah waking up. You follow me? So Hezbollah is fighting against Israel now. The battle is going on now. But it's being done by proxy. It is World War III. What qualifies a world war? It's not limited to a geographic area. It's not limited to a region. It is a global conflict. I saw a map the other day on television of all the countries and the places where Islam has indiscriminately killing men, women, and children. And it's almost like the red states, the Republican states of the United States, and the blue states, the Democratic states. Almost every part of the world had like these red colors marking that Islam has struck. Whether it's in the Philippines, whether it's in France, whether it's in the middle, wherever, the United States, where Islam, the end-time beast, has risen to maim and to torture innocent men, women, and children. So that's what I see happening here. I see that the best intentions of Sharon have backfired. He wanted to preserve the Jewish integrity of Israel, but in so doing, and by Israel trying to define its own borders, right? They withdrew in order to try to, because there's no peace partner, they have no peace partner, they don't want to make peace, they want to destroy the state of Israel. There was an attempt to define its own borders and to preserve those borders as Jewish borders, and the Jewishness of the state. Because if you have 6 million Palestinians and Arabs and 5 million Jews, it's no longer a Jewish state, is it? No longer a Jewish state. So the idea was, let's retreat to the areas that have Jewish populations and leave the sand to them. So the idea was good. Bush's idea of democratization in the Muslim world is also good. The problem is, the first election, they vote the freedom guys out, and they put in the Sharia law guys in. The strong-armed dictator, or totalitarianism. That's how Islam is ruled, by totalitarian leaders. Does anybody question that? That Islam is historically ruled by totalitarian leadership? Right? So what good is a democracy? It's good for one election. Is there going to be a democracy in Iraq? Sure. Until U.S. troops pull out. When U.S. troops pull out, that's the end of democracy. See what I'm saying? They're going to vote in a totalitarian leader. Baruch Hashem Yahweh anyway. So, if Israel has, this is not Iraq where we're just playing games. It would be nice to get rid of Saddam. He tried to kill my father, so I'm going to go after him. And it'd be nice to try to establish democracy in the Islamic world. No. This is the real McCoy. It says right here in Ezekiel 38. See? It's an end-time Islamic beast. Iran, Sudan, Libya, Turkey, and Satan's seat, Beth Togarmah, Ezekiel 38:6. All the North Quarter nations, all the Islamic republics, even perhaps Russia. And of course, Russia is backing Iran. Russia wants Iran to have nuclear technology for what? Alleged peaceful purposes, right? You know, Russia is arming Iran and giving Iran nuclear help and nuclear technology for alleged peaceful purposes, right? So that's one of those northern nations. And we see about that in Ezekiel 38:3. So where is this thing heading? I think that Israel has to remove this madman from power. Because if we wait 1 or 2 years, it's over. All you have to do is fire one nuclear weapon at Israel, and that's the end of the state of Israel. Remember, Israel is the size of New Jersey. How many nuclear weapons do you need to destroy New Jersey? Right? So, the first is the last. The only reason it hasn't happened is because he doesn't have it yet. But he is striving to have it. So what you have to understand is this is not the end of the world. Okay? This is not, it may not even be the final battle of Gog and Magog. This is not Armageddon. This is one of those pieces. In other words, when Yeshua first came into the world, how many events were part of Yeshua's coming into the world? How many things? His virgin birth, his birth in Bethlehem, his coming to the synagogue for his bar mitzvah at the age of 12 or 13, his death on the tree, his resurrection from the grave. These were not different comings, right? Right? They were all part of the first coming, made up of many different events. So is the end-time battle against the Islamic beast. It's a one huge battle made up of many smaller events. Little skirmishes here, little skirmishes there, many smaller events and skirmishes. This is one of the events in World War III. And it's interesting, remember, if Rabbi Moshe received the revelation of the Islamic end-time beast and nobody else received this revelation, then it's not of Yahweh. Because, what? Yahweh does everything, confirming his word with what? Witnesses. 2 or 3 or more what? Witnesses. But now we have news people like Bill O'Reilly and talk show hosts like Glenn Beck saying, hey, stop playing games. Stop using these terms that are deceiving people. This is World War III. It qualifies as a war throughout the world geographically, and it catches into this war, into the equation, every nation on earth. Bush said, you're with us, or you're with the terrorists. So every nation is involved, and every area of the world geographically is involved. This is a world war. So what we're seeing there is part of a world war. And that's what we're seeing. So, we're seeing a conflict which is going to get larger, and the whole situation is going to escalate and keep escalating daily and daily. And if Israel attacks Damascus, okay, then right after that they would probably attack Iran. And before you know it, we have Gog and Magog. And now what happens, all the divisions in the Islamic world, Hezbollah, Hamas, the PA, Jordan, and see now, if this gets out of hand, like within the next few weeks, which is possible, hopefully cooler heads will prevail, hopefully. But one of the first things that's going to happen, let me prophesy this to you, so this way you'll know it's prophetic and not just my opinion. If Israel attacks, you can make it louder if you could kill the other one, the other monitors. If Israel attacks Damascus or Damascus, then Iran will come to Damascus's assistance. And then when Iran comes to Syria's assistance, then the U.S. is now fighting Iran and Syria on their timetable. Big mistake. Big mistake. The key element of warfare is the element of surprise. The best thing for Israel is to do their job, dismantle Hezbollah to the best of their ability, go to sleep, withdraw for 4 months, and in the middle of the night, get rid of Iran in a surprise attack. It's a major mistake. They must do it before December. There's not a lot of time. Because this madman will have nuclear weapons. He's very close. I mean, even Russia says that. This is not just the U.S. and the CIA and George Tenet, making some kind of intelligence blunder again. This is some real, and every nation on earth knows that these are facts. This is factual. So I would say the best thing for Israel to do is dismantle Hezbollah to the best of their ability. Say we know Iran is behind Hezbollah. We know Syria is behind Hamas. We're going to protect our citizens. We're going to go into a defense mode, a type of warfare. But sometime before Christmas, November or December, I use Christmas because the world uses Christmas, not because I believe in Christmas. We would need to take care of business in Iran and have the element of surprise on our terms, not on their terms, on our terms. But when that happens, whether we're drawn into a conflict with Iran and Syria this week, or whether Israel attacks Iran before the end of the year and we're drawn in that way, regardless how it happens, the first thing that's going to happen when Israel attacks Syria, when I say attack, it's defensive. We have no choice. What are they supposed to do? Sit back, kill my soldiers, kidnap our soldiers, go ahead, do what you want. I mean, you know, what happens if the Canadians started coming into our country and kidnapping and murdering our soldiers in the United States? What would we do? We'd do the same thing Israel's doing. We wouldn't sit still, we would counterattack. Okay. And if you notice, a lot of the political jargon that's coming out of the Middle East, if you notice, it's always the same devil. And there's a way that you know that it's always the same devil. Because no matter who gets interviewed in the Middle East, they always come back to this. Well, Israel should withdraw, there should be a ceasefire, everybody should calm down, so the whole thing shouldn't be a flare-up, and so on and so forth. But then P.S., and they always get back to this, do you notice this? But the underlying problem needs to be dealt with, or the underlying issue, and what they're saying is, that's a euphemism, it's a catchphrase. What they're saying is Israel has to give back all the land to the so-called Palestinians. They all say the same thing, even though they have different political agendas and come from different geographical areas. Think about it. And somewhere in their interview with the reporters, they all say the same thing. They said Israel has to have a ceasefire, we have to cut back on the fighting, we have to let things calm down, but the underlying issue must be dealt with. And what to them is the underlying issue? Israel stealing the land of those poor, helpless, and defenseless Palestinians. That's the underlying issue to them. And once that's dealt with, everything will be hunky-dory. If anything, what happened proves that that's not the issue. Because when Israel gave back the land, the Gaza Strip, to the Palestinians, rather than go deeper into the peace process and say, we are getting our land back, thank Allah, praise be to the Allah, that through these negotiations, they may not be everything in Yerushalayim, but we're getting our land back. What do? They said, we don't want the land. We want to attack and fire rockets into Israel to get more of the land, meaning they have no reason to exist except to wage war and get more and more land. So they're not, if they were happy, they would say, wow, we're getting someplace through negotiations. That's the first thing. Not only that, Israel made it very well known, they advertised, it was very well known that if the experiment in Gaza actually had worked, that they were willing to withdraw from the West Bank, right? They had advertised that. That was clear, that they were willing to withdraw from the West Bank. But things didn't work out in Gaza. So it's not land that these folks want, it's the destruction of Israel. So, Iran, Ahmadinejad, is not ready to destroy Israel. He will and desires to destroy Israel. But he's not ready. He's still 6 months away from a nuclear weapon. You follow me? So, but through Hezbollah, he can have a pretext to destroy Israel. He could say, look, Israel has incurred into Lebanon. They've gone into Lebanon. They've invaded a sovereign Arab country. They've gone into Damascus. They've invaded another sovereign Arab country. So Hezbollah is being used by Iran to stir up trouble, to draw Israel into a conflict. So when he's buying time, he's buying 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, he's buying time. So when he does have a nuclear weapon, then he could say, you see, right now Israel is in 3 sovereign or 2 sovereign Arab nations. They invaded Lebanon, they invaded Syria, and so in the name of Allah and for the honor of the Islamic world, we now have nuclear weapons. Don't worry, Syria. Don't worry, Iraq. We'll get the Crusaders out of your country too. And as soon as, so in other words, Hezbollah was ordered to stir up this strife and to create this conflict, to give this Haman, that's what he is, a Haman, who denies the last Holocaust while planning the next one, to give him a reason or an excuse to attack Israel and destroy Israel. So that's what this is. This is Iran saying, look, we're talking a good game here, we're talking trash, as they say, right? We're talking a lot of trash. And we can't waste 6 or 8, 9 months talking trash, because Israel will laugh at us. They won't take us seriously. So we have ordered our agents in southern Lebanon that are fueled by us, that are subsidized by us, Hezbollah, to begin a conflict with Israel that we can enter when we are ready to destroy Israel. In other words, it's okay to say, I'm entering an ongoing conflict. It's not cool in the world's eyes to start a conflict. Make sense? That's not cool to start a conflict. But if Iran could say, look, we're just going to the defense of our Islamic Brotherhood, then they have the built-in reason to attack Israel. That's what this is about. I pray that Israel does not get sucked into attacking Iran and Syria this week, or next week, or the week after that, because that's not good. We were playing the games on